The next two, or the next one and the one following that, are very closely related. It's simply, the first one is bad news doesn't get better with age. Now, it's not like wine that ages, but how often if you're a parent, you had a child do something and you find out about it 1 week or 2 weeks later, like there's a dent in the car or something happened, excuse me, at a neighbor's house. What really, as a parent and as the children's leader, what really irritates you, not so much as what happened, is the fact that you didn't know about it. They didn't tell you about it. And then the same is true in the business world. Tylenol has gone through several, and these are public stories, so I'm not telling anything out of school, but Tylenol went through several episodes where their drugs were compromised by various things. One was they wound up with some metal in them. Another time they had people poking holes in the thing and inserting cyanide. And each time Tylenol came out, immediately said, hey, we got a problem, pulled everything off the shelves, and said, this is what we're doing to fix it. And the world said, great. And Tylenol still is a popular over-the-counter drug. The second one, after bad news doesn't get better with age, is don't shoot messengers. How often have you been afraid to go to your boss and tell him something was bad? I was a partner in a consulting firm, and I had a very large client in Connecticut. I can't use the name of the client, but I'll tell you a little bit about them. They were a large insurance company, and the project was about building a business case to look at outsourcing almost 1,000 people in their application development and maintenance organization. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, I get a phone call. It's the head of the public relations group. He's the vice president of public relations, and he's calling me. He said, hey, Mark, I just got off the phone with a writer at the Hartford Courant, that's a big state newspaper, and he's writing a story about we're going to get rid of 1,000 people and they're all going offshore, and he had most of his facts wrong. What do I do? And I said, well, look, I said, number one, I'm only a consultant, but you need to tell your boss and the CFO and the CEO. And he said, well, I can't do that. Well, why can't you do that? Well, the answer really, as I turned down the conversation, he was afraid because he would get fired for bringing these people bad news. The company had a history of, quote, shooting messengers. And the bad news about this analogy is simply this. As a leader, you want people from deep within the organization to bring you stuff, bringing you information. It's the only way, or one of the only ways, that you can learn about what's really going on in the organization, whether it's a small team, a large corporation, or whatever. But the fact of the matter is you want people to come to you with information. Then you as a leader can evaluate it. And the whole trick about this is by not shooting the messenger is it encourages people. And again, I go back to my 3 things. What happened? Why did it happen? And how are we going to fix it? They don't have to bring you the solution, but at least they have some firsthand knowledge of what happened, and you can begin to work out what went wrong.